What's up, guys? It's your boy, Racy Boy, back with another video. Happy Tuesday morning, guys. What's up? What's good? What's popping? Okay, guys, so we're doing a latte that I made, homemade latte. We're doing a cheese bagel, healthy cheese bagel. I don't know if it's really healthy, but it's like wheat. It doesn't have a really, see the cheese? It doesn't really have a good flavor to it, and I'll probably only eat one half because I just can't eat the whole thing and then eat the other half later for lunch or something. But anyways, guys, I want to talk, okay? So I need to give a shout out to DMN Blogs. I could be wrong, but she's been one of my fans from like day one, and she told me that I'm allowed to talk about Black Lives Matter, police brutality, all the stuff that's going on in the world right now. You're allowed to talk about it, and YouTube will not flag it. So I thought that was really cool because I thought they would. So, you know, it's good to have fans that know their stuff because I would have never known. But let's say grace. Dear God bless us. We in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay, so I don't know if you guys have been watching it. Let me tell you guys a little bit my backstory with race and what I've been dealing with, and then we'll get to the trial and we'll get to all this other stuff that keeps happening in the world that I think is so sad and pathetic. But anyways, okay, so going back to my childhood. Okay, so I grew up in the 1990s. Okay, so racial profiling and all that stuff wasn't as bad as it was like in the 70s and the 60s and the 50s and the 40s, and even farther back where we were still slaves, for people who don't know that. A lot of the African American cultures, we were slaves. We worked for the white people. We worked on plantations and we picked cotton and we were beaten and we were just, a lot of stuff happened to us that was, and this whole racial thing has been happening for years. It just wasn't as big until all these shootings started happening and all these killings started happening of young or older or middle-aged men or women who are African American. So when I was growing up, I lived in a white community. I lived with a bunch of white people. That's why I talk really polite. When I'm around other black people, they say, why are you so preppy? And they were like, you're not black, you're white. You're a white person stuck in a black person's body. So I've dealt with race my whole life and being picked on and stuff like that my whole life because people were like, oh, he's so proper. He can't fit in the hood. He can't do whatever. And it's not that I'm like trading, like, it's not like I'm turning my back against the black people community, but it's just, I wasn't raised like that. I was raised in the country. I had some black friends, but I had some African-American friends. I'll say it like that. It's more polite. But I didn't really have a lot because the ones that I was introduced to, they were so like, I just didn't like the way that they talked about women, and they were all about their drugs and all and it just was not the people I wanted to hang out with. So it's not that I was being racist against my own type. It was just, I wasn't around a lot of the good ones at that time. So then, so yeah, I moved to Florida. I moved to Florida, and then I went through a whole nother racial thing. I went to a school. Okay, so when we first moved to Florida, I went to a school that was mostly Puerto Ricans. It was all of them really were Puerto Ricans. There might have been like 6 or 5 people that were African American, including me. And the only reason why I went to the school was because it was right down the street from my grandparents' house, and we lived with my grandparents for a year. So that was the only reason why I went to that school. So I loved everyone. I played sports. My girlfriend was Puerto Rican, whatever. I had friends all over the school. Then they built this house, and we moved to this house March of 2007. And it was my junior year. And I was like, I begged and I begged and I begged and I pleaded, can I just stay at this school and graduate from University High School instead of going to Timber Creek High School where I knew nobody, and I knew the school was really segregated, and I knew the school was like really preppy, and I was like, I know I'm not going to fit in. But my grandparents wouldn't let me live with them, and my parents were like, no, you need to come with us. And I'm like 17 at this time, or I was about to turn 17. And this was like June of that year, and they wouldn't let me come or stay. So anyways, fast forward, I went to Timber Creek. That school was so segregated. You had your Puerto Ricans, you had your blacks, you had your rednecks, you had your Asians, you had your nerdy people, you had your cheerleaders, it was just so, I hated that school. And I was bullied. I was bullied so much because one, I was bullied because of this area, because these were like big at the time because of how like I was not overweight, but like the muscle. So people were like, oh, he's a girl, he's a he, she, blah, 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 blah. Oh, he's gay because of the way he talks, just because I talked in a little higher pitch voice. And I had a lot of girls that were my friends. So I was like, oh, he's gay. He's just not out of the closet yet. Da, 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 da. So I went through all that. But then when they found out that my cousin was there and he was like the big superstar for the school, then people wouldn't really bully me that much. But then they were like, you know, whatever. So I went through that. And then we had this one racist teacher she was so racist to us. And cut to when I graduated high school, I got in this situation where I had to go to the court, and the court was so racist. And I was like, if this would have been a white person, this thing would have never even went to trial. This thing would have never even went to court. And I mean, everything was dropped, but the way that the person got charges was because they had connections with the state attorney, and I was black, and it was because I think they were racial. I really think it was a whole racial profile. So that's what made me believe the justice system is rigged. It does not work. It does not work at all. Cut to what we're dealing with right now with George Floyd, with Trayvon Martin, with Breonna Taylor, I mean, it goes as far as back as what's his face. It's just Rodney King. It goes so back to Martin Luther King. I mean, it goes so back with this race thing, you know? And right now we're waiting for this jury to decide this man's life who murdered an innocent black person over some stupid money. We haven't even done the Taylor trial yet, because I think all those officers were found not guilty. So I don't think there even will be a trial for that one. We had one before that where that officer went in and killed that guy in his own home because she thought he broke into her apartment. How? You know your number. I mean, like, it is sad. Like, when I was where I was, guys, when I took my break, I was walking with my cousin. We were walking home from the gas station. We're in a white neighborhood. She lives in a white neighborhood. And it was me and my cousin. And we were walking home. An officer drove up. He didn't pull us over or anything. He just drove up, right? And he was just like, and it was about to rain. And he was really nice. He's like, yo, like, how are you guys doing? We're like, we're good. And then we're just talking and laughing because that's how me and him are. And, you know, like, we're just walking, we're going back home. And he's just like, oh, well, hurry and get home. It's about to rain. And, you know, you guys have a good day. Stay safe. And we were like, thank you. Stay safe. But in my mind, I'm thinking if this would have been reversed and we would have been in a different area where my cousin doesn't know people, they would have probably shot us, because they would have said, oh, two black men that looked this description of the people sneaking in houses or whatever, they would have had a right, or they would have thought in their head they had a right to arrest us or shoot us or something like that. And that's what happened to Trayvon Martin. He was coming home from the gas station with a pack of Skittles and ended up being killed. Like, that's why I was so scared, because it's like, one, I'm older. My cousin hasn't even lived his life yet. And so I was like, that, like, right there, like, I would have defended him 100%. But it's like, I was just like scared. But even though like my cousin knew him and he was such a nice officer, I was just thinking if the roads would have been reversed and we would have been somewhere else in another white neighborhood, it doesn't matter, you know? And then there was just a shooting before that, like days before that. It was just like, I mean, it's every day there's a shooting. There's some type of mass shooting. And it's so sad because it's like innocent people are dying for no reason. Someone got fired, so they're going to go and shoot up the place where they got fired. To an ex-girlfriend broke up with the guy, so the guy goes back to get, you know, revenge. To you could be in a drive-thru, someone just got killed at McDonald's. It's like, we saw the guy who got killed at Wendy's. Now they burned down the Wendy's for a protest. Like, this poor judge and this poor jury, guys, really have this man's life in their hands. And then at the same time, they have the media and they have the protests that are just already starting, the marching that are already starting outside the courthouse. This judge has got to have a lot of stress. It's like, you're really danged if you do and you're danged if you don't. You know, like, justice does need to be served to show all these other officers that they can't do this, keep doing this. But it doesn't matter. This is not the first one. There's going to be more. They don't care. All that stuff that we did, I hate to say it, but I feel like it hasn't changed anything. You know, yes, we have Biden now. Who knows what Biden will do? You know, I don't get into politics, but still, like, I just don't feel like, I mean, this has been going on for over who knows how many years. They don't care about African Americans. They don't care. They really don't. They see how we were treated when we were slaves. They see us as dirt. They see us as scum. They see us as the people who are supposed to clean your house, the people who are supposed to chauffeur you around, the people who are supposed to be your bodyguards, the people who are supposed to, it's just like, it's pathetic. It's so pathetic that we're in the 20th century and we're still dealing with race. It's pathetic. In my family, I have nieces and nephews, right, that are light skinned. All of them are light skinned, okay? They're going to go to school and they're going to be called names because they're going to say they're black, but they're not. People are going to say, you're not black, you're white, or you're mixed, or something like that. So they're going to have to go through this whole racial profiling their whole lives too. Because, especially my other brother, he married a white woman and his kids came out white, but he's black, but he's a light-skinned black. So they're definitely going to go through stuff too, because as they get older, and when you do these different things in school that ask you what's your heritage, what's your nationality, and you put down you're African American or mixed, people are not going to believe that. And so I have to think about my nieces and nephews that got to deal with this stuff when they go through school, when they go through life. It's like, what are they coming into that is going to be worse than what I grew up in? Okay. And so, and for the other generation, for a lot of my fans that are young, for a lot of my my viewers that are young, it's like, what are you guys going to be growing up into? What are you guys coming into? It's just sad. I feel sad for them because it's like, my life was hard enough and it wasn't as bad as it is right now. And then for you guys, it's going to be even worse. Which, especially this virus that's out there and all this different stuff that's happening. You can't even walk the streets because you might be shot. Like, that's so sad. It's pathetic. And then social media bullying and people who are scared to do certain stuff because of the bullying that they get, the stuff that happens to them. It's just pathetic. It's so pathetic. But again, Black Lives Matter. Everyone's life really matters. But right now, it's Black Lives Matter because we are being swiped out. We're being knocked down. We're being attacked. Even Asian lives matter. I mean, these Asians keep getting attacked for no reason because people will blame them for bringing this virus. And it's not their fault. Especially if they were born here in the U.S. Y'all need to stop that crap because that's not even fair. My best friend is from the Philippines and she didn't bring it here, okay? That crap pisses me off. No, I wish someone would do something in front of me to Jama. Oh my God, please. And I'd be in every right to protect her. So they better don't do it in front of me. But anyways, guys, I talked to a psychic last night, and I know I told you guys I don't really believe in psychics, but she told me that something big is happening in August. She said it could be me getting a relationship, something new happening, or something. She just said something big is going to happen. So she's like, be looking out for that and just hope. And so I hope she's right, but I don't know. We'll see. But I love you guys so much for watching. I only ate 1/2 of my bagel, if you guys can see, because they're fooling. They make you full. And then I drink 1/2 of my tea. But I love you guys. Have an awesome day. Peace.